What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Psych Reacts. I am Poseidon, and today we will be covering the weeks before the murders of Shanann Watts and her two children. So I've put together some clips that include text messages, Facebook Live videos, and mainly a lot of text messages, because in the text messages there shows a lot of relationship issues. So I feel like that's important to look at, especially since this is I think a month before all of the issues started occurring. I just have a few little live videos to show you guys real quick. It's Shanann talking about her family and her job and how much she loves it and enjoys her kids. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
I feel really blessed this summer. I'm going to San Diego with Chris. We're going June 22nd through the 26th. And then the 26th, that afternoon at 5:30 at night, Bella, Cece, and I and my dad are flying back to North Carolina for 6 weeks. 6 weeks we're going to be in North Carolina, Cece, right? And we're going to go spend time with our families and friends and everything else. And then we're going to come back August 7th. And then I fly to Scottsdale, Arizona on the 11th for a mini little retreat with my team. And we're going to have a lot of fun.
So this is a Facebook Live video from her phone in her house, obviously, that she did before she went to North Carolina to visit her parents for 6 weeks. Now, in the background, you can see Chris playing with Cece, I believe. I think this is Bella. And she is just talking about the trips that are coming up and all of that stuff. So let's go ahead and continue.
Bella, say hi. Bella, say hi. And I really love the fact that careful, Cece, there's a table there. No, Cece. Go back. Child. They're sitting there playing with Daddy, with jewelry, because that's what they love.
So I just wanted to show that just to kind of give an idea of what it looked like before all the issues seemed to start to arise. It's very, very heartwarming to see this moment and just look at this moment and realize what's to come. You know, it's very saddening to see, to be honest. But I just wanted to point it out there and show it so that people can see these moments, you know? So let's continue. And the next clip I thought was kind of interesting that she said, considering this is a month before she was murdered. Let's listen to what she has to say.
We're not promised tomorrow, you know? We're not promised anything, but to be able to enjoy our children and every crazy moment, it can be super crazy. I'm not gonna lie, my kids are crazy, but I love them, and I love the fact that I can be there for them. Bella knows that mommy doesn't go into work, so when mommy leaves the house without them, it's foreign to her. You know, we go everywhere together, and we do everything together, and that's what she's used to.
So obviously you can see that Shanann really, truly does care for her family and her kids. She would protect her kids with her life, and I'm honestly surprised that further down the road, when Chris tried to pin it all on Shanann, that people believed him, because in all of these videos you can see how much she truly adores her children and her family and what it means to be a family. So it honestly boggles my mind that people were hating on her when she wasn't even around to defend herself, because she was murdered by her own husband. I don't see how people could have went that way, but we'll get into that in the later episodes.
Is why I will continue what I do. I will continue fighting. I will continue fighting for my children, for my husband, for myself, and nobody's going to hold me back from my future, my kids' future.
I wanted to put that in because it shows how much of a fighter Shanann is. It shows that she would never give up on her own family. She wanted to make things work, and she would do anything to make sure that they did. And I think that's what scared Chris, to be honest. When he started the affair, I feel like he might have thought he was trapped because he knew how much Shanann would fight. And I think that honestly intimidated him a little bit. I could be wrong, but that's just how I see things. I feel like it could have been intimidation because of how strong a woman she was, and he had this secret and he knew that she wouldn't give up on him and the children. And I feel like that's what made him think he was so stuck and why a divorce would never work. But in this next clip, Shanann will be talking about meeting Chris and how everything turned into what it was.
Request from Chris on Facebook, and I was like, oh, what the heck, I'm never gonna meet him. Except, well, one thing led to another, and 8 years later, we have 2 kids, we live in Colorado, and he's the best thing that has ever happened to me. He stuck around, and he stuck around because he was the one for me.
So I just wanted to put that in there to show the beginning of the relationship and how it all looked. And also, this was only a month before the murders, so she still felt this way about him. And I wanted to point out that the health conditions and the scares that she had along the way, Chris saw her at her worst, and he stuck around, and that's why she fell in love with him, because he was there through the thick and thin, and she appreciated him being there through the worst. Now, the last few minutes I have of these clips is text messages. So Shanann left to go to North Carolina. She brought Cece and Bella with her. They went to stay with her parents in North Carolina for 6 weeks. During this time, Chris somehow got involved in an affair with his coworker. So I guess being alone, he got an idea of what the single life was like, and he met this other person named Nicole, and I guess they went out and they started to form a relationship, all while Shanann was in a different state. In this next section of Before the Murders, we'll be talking about the text messages, the language in these text messages, and how it all start to unfold in Chris and Shanann's relationship. So you can pause and read these text messages yourself. Basically, Shanann was in North Carolina. There was an issue with Chris's parents with the kids. So I think Celeste had an allergy, and the parent-in-laws gave or had food in the vicinity of Celeste where it could cause a problem. So I also have a food allergy. I'm highly allergic to peanuts and tree nuts. If I ingest them, touch them, or eat them or anything like that, it can kill me. So I totally understand where she's coming from, because my mom was the same way. She was just terrified if peanuts or tree nuts were anywhere in the vicinity of myself. So especially when they're little, because they can just touch whatever and then touch their eyes, and then it can get into their nose and their mouth and they can ingest it, which can be very frightening. So I understand that Shanann kind of freaked out on his parents for allowing her children to be in a situation that could lead to her harm. They were 30 minutes out from a hospital, and the EpiPen doesn't actually cure the situation. It only prolongs it, so it only tries to slow the process down. You need to go to a hospital with a food allergy if it's this serious. So she had a little bit of an issue with his parents. They didn't come to her birthday party, and they apparently said that it was because they were scared of her. But this friend is asking, was he on board with you leaving for that long? And he said that he was totally on board, which could be a little bit weird, considering, like, why would your husband want you to be gone for that long? Like, why would he be full force, like, yes, go have a good time? Like, I get being supportive and all that, but saying he was totally on board was a little bit odd to me, because it kind of seems like he wanted her to leave so he could go do something else. In this next text message, she's saying that he hasn't asked about the baby because she was pregnant during this time. She was experiencing nauseousness and all of that, and he just was not in it, did not care, didn't ask any questions, didn't do any sort of comforting during her pregnancy. So that started to raise questions of, what if he doesn't love me anymore? And she was starting to freak out and be like, oh my god, we're having this child, but I don't feel that he's in this situation with me. He feels distant and cold, which we'll see more of in the next future texts. So see right here, like I said, he did end up going to the ultrasound to see, I think they were trying to see the gender of the baby. And when he went, he was cold, so totally distant, not involved, and honestly not seeming to really care. So this is where it starts to get a little bit dirty. Apparently they were having issues with sexual relations where he rejected her the night they arrived in either home or they went on this beach trip, just the two of them, so I'm not sure which one it was. Here she's starting to suspect that there is another person providing this intimacy with him, but she says right here, I don't think he has it in him, but she is starting to suspect another girl being involved. In this text message, she's basically saying that the parent-in-laws need to respect the daughter's life because they put her daughter in danger, and she needs to have more respect for them and the kids. And he is saying that she put a dagger between him and his dad and kind of like hurt the relationship because he has to go against his dad to protect his own children, when in a relationship like that where you get a new family and you become committed to your wife and your kids, yes, the parents should be second nature. They are still your parents and you should still care for them and respect them, but it's also like you need to protect your children. So he's not doing this in this case. And this is when they started to break apart and sleep alone. He slept in the basement and didn't sleep with his own wife. So I would just kind of let these text messages play out, but in these text messages, you can start to see the unraveling of a relationship. This was all during and after she was away for 6 weeks in North Carolina, which is when he had the affair. He wouldn't give her sex. She didn't feel loved. She didn't feel wanted. And I feel like that's what started all of the uncertainty in her mind, which rightfully so, because he started to be less romantic with her because he found this new love that he was just infatuated with, and she was just totally mad at the fact that he wasn't giving her the respect that she needed and deserved. So she started saying, I don't want this pregnancy, he doesn't want it, so I don't want it, I don't want to be alone in all of this. And it's scary, like if you're pregnant and you have 2 other children already and your husband starts to like fade out, that would be truly scary. Like I don't know what I would do. So this is all weeks before the murders. You can start to see where she has issues with how he's acting, and he is not acting like he was. They're like, I don't know who this person is anymore. This is not the man that I married, because he is already emotionally involved in another relationship, so he feels like he can't provide the same energy towards his wife. So Chris is trying to pin the ripple in their relationship on the fact that Shanann was standing up for her daughter in the situation of Cece's life being put in danger, and how his parents did that kind of blew it off, it seems like. So I feel like he was trying to use that as an excuse and was trying to pin it on her and say, this is why we're having issues, because you built this wall between me and my father, and it's your fault, where he knew that he was the one making the mistakes, but he was trying to get out of it so that he didn't look like the bad person. Here she mentions how from the day she left for her trip to North Carolina, she says, you never said I missed you before I said it. Something changed when I left. You may be happier alone, and that's fine. You can be alone. So this is the result of him already being involved in another relationship. He felt that single life, and then he met someone else, and now he's trying to detach himself from Shanann and his family because he's telling Nicole, the girl he had an affair with, that he is single and he's divorcing his wife. So he's kind of stuck playing a double life, because Nicole thinks that he's single or will be divorced soon and has no further connection to Shanann, where Shanann does not know what's happening because he's not telling her anything, because he's hiding things, and she doesn't know where this is coming from. She's confused. She was in a different state. She's pregnant, so she's got all these hormones going, and she's very, very confused. And I truly do feel bad for her to be in this situation, especially being pregnant, because that only heightens her feelings, heightens her anxiety, and I can't imagine what she went through the weeks before she was murdered. So also this text, I have a problem with, because Shanann is pregnant, okay? So she's gonna be having back issues, and she's gonna be tired, exhausted, not feeling well. She slept on the couch because Chris went up to bed, got all cozy, and they were having issues and butting heads, and they didn't want to sleep together because there was just so much tension. But that shows what type of man Chris is, because he didn't let his pregnant wife sleep, no matter the issues involved with them and no matter how many problems they were having. He still did not let his pregnant wife sleep in the own comfort of their bed. Usually the woman kicks the man out and the man sleeps on the couch. But especially being pregnant, she did not get to sleep in her own bed. She had to sleep on the couch, which honestly shows the type of man that Chris Watts is. In this text message, it also shows that Chris stopped wearing the wedding ring. She says that he says it's because it doesn't fit. Now, you can get them resized, and I know my parents still wear their wedding rings, even though it may be a little bit tighter or something. But also, on his phone screen, apparently he had a picture of them together, maybe on like a lock screen or something like that. But she's saying that he removed it from his phone, so he no longer has them two in the picture on his lock screen. So that could point towards being with Nicole, because he didn't want Nicole to think that he was in a relationship still with his wife. So he was trying to prove to Nicole that he was divorced or getting divorced and had no more emotional attachment to his wife. Look how bad she looks in this picture compared to before she went on the vacation. So look at how she looks here. Makeup's all done, her hair is nice, she's looking healthy. But then you come over to this picture of after everything that's happened, being pregnant, issues with her husband, coming back from the trip. Look how bad and exhausted she looks. Like, that shocked me, to be honest. She really does not look good in this picture. And no offense, it's just she does not look healthy is what I'm saying. So this is a pretty important text message sequence too, because this is during one of their conversations that they had at night. They were talking about this, and she says, "Why did you get me pregnant?" He says, "I thought you wanted another baby." But he said that he wanted a boy, and she said, "Why are you married to me?" He says, "Because we love each other." Then she says, "You can't look me in the eyes." His response is, "It's midnight." He can't look her in the eyes because he's lying to her. That's just a fact. So I put together all of these clips of text messages. I got these from YouTube. These are not my clips. I found these off of YouTube, and I edited them down to find the more specific ones, more important ones, and things that I thought should be brought up and analyzed. So if you want to see this full clip, I know we skipped through some of it. There's just a lot of text messages, but they're basically saying the same thing. It's just a lot of evidence showing the relationship unraveling, how Chris was becoming distant, cold, and how Shanann was really confused on what was happening. Meanwhile, Chris was having an affair, and that's what led to all of this turmoil and leading to the disappearance of Shanann and the kids. So I just wanted to bring this up because I thought it was important to show the start of what happened before she was murdered. I feel like that's always important, is finding out like what led up to it, why this happened, what caused it. I feel like we'll never truly know why he decided to murder his own family. It shows Shanann's character, because she is a fighter, she will not give up, and I think that's what scared Chris. It made him think that he was stuck and a divorce would never work. Just get a divorce if you're not happy. So I think in the next section for the series, we will be talking about the body language that led to him being prosecuted. There is so much evidence, and it clearly shows because of how narcissistic he is, which I'll explain in the next episode. But I just wanted to give this to kind of show where the relationship started falling apart, and I feel like it's important. So if you did watch and enjoy this episode of the Chris Watts case, be sure to drop a like down below. In the next episode, we'll be going over body language and getting more into the nit and grit of analyzing his behavior and uncovering the secrets that Chris was hiding. So be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. We have just passed 1,000 subscribers, so thank you guys so much. I truly appreciate all the support on these videos, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying them as much as I am making them. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I truly appreciate it, and I will see you